The Beatles almost made Lord of the Rings. And the reason it didn't happen is insane. 1. In the late 1960s, the Beatles wanted to make the first live-action Lord of the Rings film. They had the money, they had the fame, they had one director in mind. 2. Stanley Kubrick, the guy who made 2001: A Space Odyssey. The Beatles thought he was the only one who could pull it off. 3. But Kubrick told them it was unfilmable. He said the technology wasn't there yet. The books were too complex. It couldn't be done. 4. So the Beatles went to the one person who could override Kubrick's decision. J.R.R. Tolkien himself. They asked for the rights. 5. Tolkien hated the Beatles. He hated their music. He hated their culture. He refused. No negotiation. No second chance. Just no. 6. The film was never made. Peter Jackson did it 40 years later. But imagine, a Kubrick directed, Beatles scored Lord of the Rings. We almost had it. Follow for more. Mount Everest's first measurement came out to a perfect 29,000 feet. So they lied about it. On purpose. 1. In 1856, the British surveyed Mount Everest for the first time. The calculation came back exactly 29,000 feet. Perfect number. Too perfect. 2. The surveyors knew nobody would believe a round number like that. People would think they just guessed. So they added 2 feet. 3. They reported it as 29,002 feet. Just to make it look like they actually measured it. Because who's going to climb up there and check? 4. Nobody did check for 70 years. The real height was eventually found to be 29,032 feet. The original 29,000 was almost exactly right. 5. The 2 extra feet were a lie to make people trust the truth. Sometimes the truth needs a little push to be believed. Follow for more. Fight Club. One of the most iconic movies ever. It was born because the author got beat up on a camping trip. Chuck Palahniuk went on a camping trip. Some campers were playing loud music. He asked them to turn it down. They beat him up. He went back to work bruised and swollen. His co-workers didn't ask what happened. They just avoided him. Nobody cared enough to ask. That silence stuck with him. He started writing about a man so invisible that nobody notices when he disappears. That became Fight Club. A man so numb he creates pain just to feel something. Born from real pain that nobody acknowledged. The movie came out in 1999. It flopped at the box office. Then it became a cult classic. Follow for more. Great Isaac Newton. The greatest scientist who ever lived. He spent most of his time on the Bible. Not science. We remember Newton for gravity, calculus, and light. But here's what most people don't know. Only a fraction of his written output was about science and math. The majority, 60% of everything he wrote, was about biblical prophecy and alchemy. He wrote more about the end of the world than he did about physics. He spent decades trying to decode the Bible. He believed scripture held hidden truths that science couldn't touch. The man who discovered the laws of the universe believed the universe had a designer. And he spent his life trying to prove it. We only remember the science because the religion embarrassed people. The most powerful conservative media owner in the world started out as a radical socialist. Rupert Murdoch, the man behind Fox News, had a very different past at Oxford University. His nickname was Red Rupert. He was a committed socialist. He had a bust of Lenin in his room. He was president of the Oxford University Labour Club. The man who would build the conservative media empire started as a left-wing activist. People change. Or maybe they just find better opportunities. Either way, the next time someone tells you their political views are permanent, remember Red Rupert, the man who went from Lenin to Fox News. Follow for more. People are full of surprises. Martha Lillard has been living inside a metal tube since 1953. She's the last person on Earth still using an iron lung. Martha was 5 years old when she got polio. The disease paralyzed her diaphragm. She couldn't breathe on her own. The only thing keeping her alive was an iron lung. A massive metal cylinder that uses air pressure to force her lungs to work. She's been in it for over 70 years. She sleeps in it. She lives in it. She watches TV through a mirror mounted above her. Every few hours, she has to manually pump the machine to keep breathing. There are no replacement parts anymore. She builds them herself. Germany had the brightest nuclear physicists in the world. They never seriously considered building a nuclear weapon. And they were stunned when America did. During World War II, Germany had some of the best scientists on Earth. Werner Heisenberg, the man who literally wrote the rules of quantum mechanics. They were working on nuclear research. But they never seriously pursued building a bomb. They doubted it was even possible. When America dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, the German scientists were stunned. They were being secretly monitored under house arrest. Their reaction was recorded. They couldn't believe it worked. The country that invented the computer that landed humans on the moon had software so complex it was woven by hand into copper wire. In 1969, NASA needed software for the Apollo guidance computer. There was no way to mass produce it. The code had to be physically woven into copper ropes by skilled textile workers. They used a technique called core rope memory. Women who had been weaving fabrics their entire lives were now weaving the code that would navigate spacecraft. The manufacturing process was so tedious it was nicknamed LOL memory. Little old lady memory. The software was never updated. It was never patched. It worked perfectly the first time. We landed on the moon with code woven by grandmothers. Follow for more. In 1999, a Texas supermarket suddenly closed. The owners walked away. They left everything inside. For months, the owners didn't just close the store. They abandoned it. All the food stayed on the shelves. Perishable items started rotting in the Texas summer heat. The smell was so bad it spread to neighboring buildings. People complained. Health officials got involved. The building was eventually declared a biohazard. A hazmat team was brought in. It took them 2 full weeks to clean the store. Weeks of cleanup for a building that was once full of fresh groceries. Nobody knows why the owners left. No bankruptcy filing. No explanation. Just gone. Sometimes the weirdest stories have no ending. Follow for more. The